said, but all you fellas could leave the organization or the studying. He said, I wouldn't hold it against you if you're not prepared. He said, I'm prepared to go to the stake. He said, because I could not stop my research. And it was important, attending at that meeting is important. It was Willem Reich, of course, and Hoppe, and T.P. Wolf, who was quite a name in psychiatry at that time. He and Flanders Dunbar did the definitive, at that time, book on psychosomatic medicine at Columbia Psychiatric Institute. He was quite an intellectual, and very nice person. Okay. Then there was Mickey Sheriff, a young student, psychology student from Harvard, very knowledgeable, very intelligent, and very helpful to Dr. Reich. And Greta Hoff, who was from Norway, became Mickey's wife. She was very helpful to the work and to Dr. Reich. And Michael Rothenberg, who another very capable, intelligent, who now is taken over Dr. Spock's baby book. You all heard of that. And he is the editor and has been.
He's the writer.
A writer. Dr. Lewis and I communicate with him quite a bit. Very nice fella, very nice. He doesn't have much to do with ergonomy, but
well, actually, he's still done some training in Seattle. He's retired in Seattle, and when I've been out there, he's given talk, you know.
Yeah, but yeah,
he doesn't practice.
Yeah, no, he gets. I didn't know talks on ergonomy.
Well, we give lectures. He's attended and spoken.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, informally, not formally, but he's very, very positive.
Very nice fellow.
And has had a positive influence. If you follow the editions of Spock's Baby and Childcare, he's brought a much more sex-positive attitude to Baby and Childcare, which reaches literally million, probably
all over the world.
Next to the Bible, the Quran is the largest selling book in the world. Yeah.
Then also it was Ola Rocknes from Oslo, Norway. He was well-known professor of religion and philosophy in Norway. Very nice fellow, very intelligent, very helpful. He worked with Dr. Reich when Dr. Reich was in Norway after, Dr. Reich came to Norway from Vienna, and when the Nazis came in, he saw the handwriting on the wall, and he went to, he belonged to the psychoanalytical group in Vienna and was one of the leaders. And he migrated to Denmark, but he had trouble there, primarily because of the Nazis. And then he went to Norway, where he was accepted quite openly at the university, and he did a lot of his early electrical experiments on sexuality, which, trying to determine the electrical charge during intercourse and the orgasm and everything else. And at that time, they say, okay, now the guy's gone off his rocker. Of course, now today, everybody's doing that. That was Ola Rocknes, and he remained in Norway, but he visited Organon, Rangeley, Maine many times, all over the country. He'd come. Very nice fellow. And Philip Gold, who was nice old guy, and he'd been one of the older psychiatrists. and Ferrari Hardoy, who came from Argentina, very capable. He had a very severe accident one time and was out of work for a long time. And then Pelletier was another psychiatrist, and Thorburn was another psychiatrist. Manny Levine, who was my very close friend, and who Dr. Reich thought very highly of, very intelligent, very smart, very capable, and very willing to do a lot of work. And he was unfortunately killed in an automobile accident coming down from Vermont after having worked on an important paper on schizophrenia for Dr. Reich. And Dr. Willie came from Oklahoma, very well-known psychiatrist there, the head of many psychiatric institutes there, came to New York after reading Dr. Reich's work, very impressed, and went into training, opened up a practice. And Dr. Willie was a very imposing man, white hair, very well-spoken, I'll use the term wasp. And even though the psychiatrists in Nassau County knew of his connection with Dr. Reich, he had a sort of a charismatic hold on everybody, and they elected him president of Nassau County Psychiatric Society. But then after a while, then the triumvirate, Baker, Rayfield, Duval, and Cott, they obviously were there. They all came from New Jersey, and they were working in the state hospital there. They were one of the first 3 or 4 who went into practice and training with Dr. Reich. Dr. Baker, of course, was extremely helpful to Dr. Reich, and very intelligent man. I liked him very much, and he liked me. But after Dr. Reich died, he decided he wanted to go on his own way, and he left the rest of the orgonomists that was still there. I mean, we had our own organization. And then my partner for about 35 years, Dr. Sidney Handelman, some of you probably know, very capable, extremely intelligent. And then there was Sobey. Then there was the 2 Trop boys, fellas, Simeon Trop and Oscar Trop. Anybody remember them? Oh yeah. Simeon was the younger of the Trops, very capable, very eager to work, and had quite a big practice. We all did, actually, at that time, in the beginning. Well, we always did. And Oscar Trop had been a surgeon, quite a capable surgeon, well-known surgeon, and he decided he wanted to get out of cutting up people, and he came into orgonomy, and when Dr. Reich went up to Rangeley to work full-time up there, he dropped his practice and took a house near near Organon and worked with Dr. Reich. Then there was Washington, William Washington. He was the black physicist that Mickey Sheriff and Michael Rothenberg brought from Harvard. And he, on his own, had gotten interested in Dr. Reich's physical experiments with the energy and electroscopic and the field meter and so forth. And somehow or other, Mickey Sheriff, who was, as I said, a student at Harvard, they met each other and told Washington he was very close to Dr. Reich, and Washington said he would meet with Dr. Reich and help him if he could. And there's a whole thing on that. I won't go on. It's still a mystery. And then,
She put a little bit in. I mean, essentially, he got very involved with Dr. Reich's work, very intimately. There's a lot of documentation.
Well, I got the document, but go ahead.
And in the midst of all this, at the point when Dr. Reich was working on a phenomenal invention or discovery, which still remains
The motor.
a motor, which came close to something approaching perpetual motion. It's unclear, but it was certainly a low
Very little energy,
a
electrical.
motor that ran continually with very little output of input of energy. And Washington was involved in developing the plans, and then suddenly disappeared.
No, you're going too fast.
Okay, well, you were there.
Yeah, I was there. So was Edward Murrow. I was there.
And it's never, the main thing is it's never been figured out why or how.
All right. And then there was Tagger Hamilton, who was a very interesting man. He was a darling of the psychoanalytical associations in New York. So was A.S. Neal in England. He was a darling of the Psychoanalytical Institute in England and also Europe. He ran a school for children, some disturbed, some not. But Hamilton also had one up in Connecticut. I forgot the name of the town. Doesn't matter. And he and his wife ran that school. And when he heard about Dr. Reich and his theories on self-regulation and everything else, he became very excited and interested. And he changed over the whole ideology of how to run his school, which he had done before with all the psychoanalysts in the United States, really. And when they heard his connection with Dr. Reich, they dropped him, and he was a non-person, too. Okay. Then, as Dr. Reich said, of course, the whole thing was being precipitated acutely by, in April 1947, there appeared in Harper's Magazine an article by Mildred Eddy Brady, which seemed to launch an attack upon an innocent group of artists who preferred to live happily in a colony on the West Coast. The tone of the article was malicious. It did not say in so many words what it expressed in more or less hidden insinuation. When this article appeared, Wilhelm Reich told his friends that it was not directed against the artist, but against him. In this article, he, Dr. Reich, was described as the originator of a new cult of sex. His friends did not believe that Reich was right. This article missed its mark. Therefore, it was soon followed by another article, appropriately entitled The Strange Case of Wilhelm Reich, which appeared in the May 26th issue of the New Republic, a magazine under the allegedly progressive editorship of Henry Wallace. Now, Henry Wallace was vice president under FDR, and he was a liberal, but he was not a fellow traveler or a red fascist. Why I say red fascist, Dr. Reich consistently referred to the communists as red fascists. He, early in the late 20s, after he spent some time in Russia, and at first was quite hopeful and soon found out how life negative and sex negative they were in communist Russia, so-called. He recognized the Communist Party that existed in Russia at that time, not as Marxist, but as red fascists, long before such a awareness had gained acceptance as it is today, that there aren't any Marxist communists, but they're all red fascists. Well, of course, now in Russia, they've changed, but this is at the time. Wilhelm Reich told his friends again that the Red Fascists had become busy. They still did not believe it.